Now I want to turn to my friend Captain Sonny Schindler. We're going to get a quick report on what's happening on the Mississippi Gulf Coast, and we'll say good morning to or good afternoon to Sonny. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. I'm sorry. I'm down here nearby you, Caddy. Sorry if I get a bad signal.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. He's at the boatyard. That's what you do when you're a captain. Hey, incidentally, Bill Kincaid, the House Chairman of Wildlife, is trying to join us. We've had some technical issues. If he joins us, we'll go over to him. He has a bill. I mentioned it that passed 117 to nothing out of the House. The public trust doctrine. We were going to talk about that, and also efforts to create a continuing funding for the Outdoor Stewardship Trust Fund. So if Bill joins us, we'll come back to him. But hey, listen, we've had some awesome hunts in Back Bay recently. The waters have been kind of perfect. Good speck fishing, good redfish. Even caught a nice flounder. Is that essentially your experience as well?
Yeah, I keep telling everybody, and I know you and I have talked a bunch. I'm an optimist, and I've always been, and it may be my downfall. The conditions are so good right now that I'm trying not to get overly optimistic. We've been good on the rain. Salinity's good considering what time of year it is. I mean, we caught a good many trout in February, and February is not, for where we fish, what we do, how we do it. February is not a good trout month for us. It's primarily redfish, trout, and puppy drum. But man, things are looking right. They're looking very good. I'm enjoying it while it's here, trying not to get complacent.
Hey, I get it, man. The reality is that, and the reason you talk about it this way is because usually we've experienced a little bit more rain. Salinity is impacted. And when salinity is impacted, speckled trout don't like bad salinity. They want a special setup, don't they, buddy?
They do. And a couple of our guys snuck out yesterday for a quick trip. And I mean, they were just literally goofing off. They got done early and went back out, and huge sheephead. They caught a box of trout. Not typical of this time of year, but the weather's unusually warm, which I love. I hate the cold stuff. So I'm excited. I'm just trying not to get overly excited, just in case. We're not out of it yet, but my optimism is trying to carry us over. I mean, can you imagine if we get another year without spillways or big floods? That's how many years in a row is that? 3?
Yeah, at least.
When's the last time that happened?
Yeah. And man, what it does is it reminds us that the body of water that we have the incredible opportunity to fish at, whether it be the barrier islands or just off our beaches or the backwaters of coastal Mississippi and the rivers and bayous that feed into it, are very resilient. They can recover, and they need time to recover. But when the bait fish start kind of working their way back in, and when the fish start getting there, and shrimp is plentiful, the fishing can be so awesome, man. I mean, it's just great to be able to go in certain areas of Back Bay and Biloxi and feel like you're in Chandler Islands catching speckled trout with occasional redfish. I mean, it's just cool, isn't it?
Yeah, and we've been doing a little work out at the island, out at Cat Island, getting things ready for the year, and just out there, we're always trying to pick it up and leave it better than we found it. And we picked a couple of pieces of metal out of the bayou that had just had kind of fallen in there. I don't know if a storm or whatever had put them in, and they were so covered in oysters. I mean, it looked like some sort of apocalyptic, weapon. This piece of pipe of metal, and you couldn't fit another oyster on it. It's that stuff. That stuff gets me excited to know that the waters are doing well and they're growing that stuff, because that's where it starts. When those things come in, the shrimp and the crabs and the minnows, and then our trout and reds, they all come in. So it's cool. It's cool seeing that stuff.
Hey, listen, Sonny, how is, you guys spend a lot of time at Cat Island fishing all around Cat Island. That's just one of many places you go to.
Right.
But you got a house there that you have access to, that you can put people up and have a great opportunity to do that. But how's the mouth of the bayou going into the channel that leads to the house?
Uh, you don't want to fool with it on a good low tide, like a good low tide, west wind, full moon. It's terrible. We have had instances where our bay boats trimmed right, and with your weight displaced right, they can run in about a foot of water. And there are times where we had one where we had to, luckily it was hot, but we had to put people out to coast in there. I know everybody likes getting in there and checking stuff out, and the bayou's cool. It's a great place to get out of the weather, if it's rough. But yeah, that from that first channel marker going into the bayou on the north side to the channel itself where the grass starts, um, not deep. It is not deep. I wouldn't bring like your big boat in there. Will you have like a 30 something?
Yes, yes.
Unless it was peak high tide with like a south wind, I would either trim them up and idle, but it's hairy, brother. It's
And it's sand too, isn't it? It's not mud, it's sand.
hard sand.
Yeah, that's when it's mud, man, you can sputter through that sometimes, or you can even blow it out. But sand, man, it's a whole nother ball game. Sand leave you high and dry and lean into the side. So, hey, when we come back, we'll continue our conversation with Captain Sonny Schindler. We'll see you after this break. Welcome back to Super Talk Outdoors. Bill Kincaid, we were not able to fix the technical problem, so we'll have him come back on next week, and we'll get everything resolved there. And Will Primos is going to be joining me next Monday. I'm looking forward to chatting with Will about his love of the outdoors and turkey hunting. Now, back to my friend Sonny Schindler from Shore Thing Charters. Sonny, people don't think of winter. For those of us down here kind of know this, but people across the state don't typically think of coastal Mississippi being a great place to fish during the winter. I went a week ago Sunday offshore to the salt lumps off around the vicinity of the horseshoe rigs. And it was really, really slow. So we went and pulled some big baits around the rigs, missed a gigantic wahoo up next to the boat. That was heartbreaking. But we had a beautiful weather window, and we took advantage of it. And then, of course, in the backwaters of coastal Mississippi, as we just mentioned, just a great time of the year to fish. But winter's a good spot, isn't it, man? If you really want to fish, as long as you don't come down here when it's too cold.
Yeah, and they don't go far. That's one thing we've learned. Speaking for the inshore, I mean, those pelagic y'all are fishing for, yes, of course they cover a lot of ground, but and those redfish, I can't tell you how many of them that we tag. We'll tag them in March of year X and catch them within half a mile of the same spot in October, of year Y. It's they got tails and they know how to use them, but for the most part, these nearshore species, they stay.
Yeah, as Sonny was saying, those nearshore species are incredible this time of year. The specks and the redfish and the puppy drums and occasional flounders. And with the salinity being where it is right now, it helps the speckled trout fishing as well. Sonny's got a bad signal, so it's been kind of in and out, but he's rejoining us today. And Sonny, I kind of gave a review of what you just said, but your group is unique though, because you have your boats on trailers and you're able to move around and go to where the fish are. The fact that you're mobile makes you very unique, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. And I'm sorry about the bad signal. I wish you could kind of see where I'm at. You want to see where I'm at?
No, that's okay. Just go ahead. We're good.
There's about, I don't know, 100 boats around me, and everybody's getting service. Normally, this much traffic is at the boat yard this is the stuff we see like in April and May, and everybody's here enjoying this pretty weather, getting their boats serviced. I guarantee you there's probably 50 in one line, which is unusual. So, hopefully everybody will get serviced and ready, and we'll keep this pretty weather and this good bite, and keep.
Yeah, so the fact that you guys are on trailers is makes you unique, though. You can go to where the fish are, can't you?
Oh yeah, no, I'm actually getting some work done part of the maintenance day up at Sport Trail down the road. I keep telling you I need to figure out how to put an odometer on my Sport Trail to figure out how far that sucker rolls, because I launch a boat every day. The only day I don't launch is when we go to the island for the night. But no, every single day I launch a boat. I love being able to move and hide from the wind and get close to the fish. I just think it makes everything so much easier.
Yeah, there's no doubt that it does, man. And it gives you the opportunity to continue to tap into all your communication resources to find out where the fish are going to be. And you guys, whether they work for Sure Thing Charters or whether they work for some other charter company, y'all do a great job of communicating with each other, don't you?
Oh yeah, no. Look, here's a perfect example. We one of the guides that works for Grand Pass, Captain Eddie, and we all work with Ronnie and Eddie and all those guys. He called yesterday, found a good deal on life jackets. We always need life jackets, and I'm not kidding. There's probably 15 of us working off a text thread. It's probably time to get new life jackets. And Eddie I know he saved me and Kenny, because the more I looked at my life jackets, the more I realized, I probably need to get some better ones. And just because, Eddie's a good friend and a great guy, he went and picked up, a dozen life jackets for me and Kenny to have new life jackets for this year.
Yeah, that's super cool. Hey, listen, I'm privileged to have you to be able to talk to. I would almost call you sort of the resident the resident charter boat captain for SuperTalk Outdoors. But you've been a good friend, not just to this show, but my other show on the coast that plays across the state, the Ricky Matthews Show on Thursdays. It's been a privilege to get to know you better and to be in touch with you, and to realize that your love of what you do goes way beyond fishing. Your primary responsibility, as you see it, is to show people who visit Mississippi a great time. Whether they catch fish or not, you want to show them a great time, and you got to be passionate about that in order to do that, don't you?
Oh yeah, no, that's the goal. We want to brand a memory or an experience in their brain or soul or database that they're never going to forget it. Never going to forget the Gulf Coast, never going to forget their time here, whether it's Sure Thing or charter boat. But we want to brand them.
They're going to come back time and time again when that happens. You guys play such an important role for tourism in the state. Hey, listen, I appreciate you joining us today. Go back and listen to the first part of this show to see how all the dots connect in the last 2 years on the Wildlife Commission, and give it some serious thought. Have a great day. And as I always say, stay safe when you're in the outdoors. We will see you next Monday. We'll see you then.